What she said was a mixed bag. I agree in naming the Islamist ideology because it helps Muslims like me and people from my community to isolate the extremists from mainstream Muslims by saying that's Islamism and Islam is distinct from that. However, you know, come on, frankly, banning the internet, I mean, I know caricaturing the policy, but America has a First Amendment right. Most of these social media companies are based in the United States. There is already lots being done online to stop illegal incitement to violence, but speech we don't like, speech, in fact, that we despise, we should be able to match that and meet it and beat it with counter speech.
But we can't.
Yeah, well, we can't. We can also.
We can't. We can see we can't because a lot of these guys we find out aren't going to mosques. They're not listening to imams these days. They're getting it off the internet.
I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a lot easier to challenge it than it is to think we can start regulating the internet. You think it's hard to challenge extremist speech? It's a lot harder to try and control the internet. She called for an international agreement. What, you think China and Russia are going to come on board? We've got all these cyber attacks going on. There's no way we're going to be able to control what goes online. And the final thing, you know, extending prison sentences for even what she called minor terrorism offences. Someone who wants to die in the course of a terrorist attack believes they're a martyr. They're not going to be put off by longer sentences. They want death. And when they're killing everyone else, they hope they get shot in the process. So the only real solution to this is a long-term, full-spectrum civil society pushback against the Islamist ideology.
How many people in the UK do you think are of a mind to go out and do what those three blokes did last night?
Well, we know the figures the security services are giving us.
They're giving us about 3,000, aren't they?
Hardened jihadists are 3,000. There are 20...
What does a hardened jihadist mean?
Ready and prepared to engage in an attack instantly. There are 23,000 who are sympathetic to jihadist violence that the security services wish they could monitor. That's a significant number. It's not insignificant because there are only, keep in mind, you know, 5% of Britain's Muslims. So about 4 million Muslims in this country. Out of those, 23,000 is a large enough number to be considered a jihadist insurgency. So what we really need is the Muslim community on board to start getting active along with everyone else, not just Muslims, mind you. You don't have to be black to challenge racism. You don't have to be gay to challenge homophobia. So everyone together needs to stand in solidarity against Islamist extremism.
And not for a moment are we suggesting that most of the Muslim community isn't any way on board, right? I mean, we've had these conversations, you and I, back and forth over the years. There is a huge swathe of the Muslim community in Britain who absolutely abhor the sort of events we saw last night, correct?
And they condemn it on a regular basis. What I try and do is push it one stage further and say condemning ISIS is fair and well and necessary. Let's also push the debate within the community around the need for reforming the discourse. And that's the kind of reform that needs to happen in the mosques with the theology so we can modernize this discourse. Islam is, after all, 600 years younger than Christianity, and it needs to go through that reform process as well.
Thank you.